everybody. Welcome to Party on Broad. Today we are talking Eagles and NFL draft. Joining me is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Ready to discuss some Eagles and a few other things tonight.
Love it, man. And as always, he is Rob Langy. Give him a shout out on X at Philly_Madness. What's good, Rob?
Just another week, another confusion by a Philadelphia team. Yeah, basically the normal here. Normal here in our lives. So looking forward to getting to it and talking with you guys about it.
Yeah, we are talking Haason Reddick trade. We're going to be talking about the NFL draft and some prospects. Guys, wherever you're watching, please be sure to like. Please be sure to comment with us as we go forward. But Howie made a big move over the last 72 hours roughly with Haason Reddick to the New York Jets. Instant reaction, grades A to F. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Lead us off.
The more and more I think time has passed on this, I start to like it a little bit better. I'm going to give it a solid B. I know a lot of people are pretty upset with it, and I think it's more or less of the why did we have to, et cetera, et cetera. And I think they had a number that they were willing to extend Haason, and Haason had a number that he wasn't willing to go under, and that was never going to get fixed. And so in lieu of, potentially losing him next year for nothing, and you never know, maybe a potential holdout, they just decided, you know what, we have a chance. We can get younger. We can get some capital now. And yeah, it's weird. It's a 2026 third that could become a second. But, looking down the road, who's to say that Aaron Rodgers is still going to be on the team at that point, and they may suck. And that second round may be, a top 40 pick. And, then when it comes time to that, we look at him, we're like, oh, well, Howie's pretty smart. But yeah, it sucks losing his son. He's a local kid, Temple Owl, and that whole 9 yards. And we don't need to get worse on defense. I get all of the reasoning. I just feel like looking at potentially how it was going to go, I think this is the best case scenario that he probably could have hoped for.
Yeah. What about you, Rob?
I don't know if you guys can see that letter. Can you see the letter? Okay. All right, that's all nice. What our buddy Ryan told you, that's all nice. It's a great way to spin it, and then that's what Howie, the spin doctor, is going to do. Here's what I say: you have a guy who is under contract. So far, has not signed an extension with the Jets. So if he by some chance plays this season on that deal with the Jets, that makes it an F. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's a third that could be a second. But for some reason, he has to have 10 sacks and play 67.5% of the snaps, which, by the way, the Jets rotate their defensive line even more than the Eagles do. Nobody played more than 65% last year. So you've made it very difficult for that pick to become a second-round pick. Howie prides himself on waiting for what he wants, and I get it. It wasn't there this year, and what Ryan says is right. If you're going to trade with the Jets, you don't do it for a 2025 pick. You do it for 2026 because Rodgers is probably out. It's a little bit higher in whatever round it is. Get that. But to me, I think this was a botched situation from the word go. I think that they came into the season or off season with the mindset that he wasn't coming back. I think that's why for a while they kind of put Josh Sweat's name out there, but a minute that he took a cap or they renegotiated his contract, he was out. And I think they missed the ball. I'm not saying I get it that maybe he had to go, but at this point, you're a month till the draft. Why not wait? I get it, but if you're going to take a pick 2 years down the line anyway, why not wait? Because there's going to be somebody who didn't get the edge rusher they wanted, who's maybe willing to pay you a little bit better. So I just think it was mismanaged by the Eagles. But let's see. Look, we say it all the time. It's a long off season. they can go out and make a big trade for a corner and Howie for president again. So, I mean, anything can happen between now and, the start of training camp in July.
Yeah, I'm a C. So not to be the politician in this one, but I'm right in the middle. I don't like it. He's a fan favorite. Ryan, you mentioned Temple, like one of my favorite Temple guys ever, and it's a tough pill to swallow. And I was a guy that has been banging the table, younger, faster, and cheaper on defense for the last several months. And it sucks when you lose one of your favorites. It just sucks. And I don't like it, but it's kind of what it is. The Eagles need to kind of find themselves with some younger players. It opens up the door for Nolan Smith. It's going to open up the door for Bryce Huff and different guys like that. But you have to state the obvious. The Jets got better in 2024. The Eagles now have more questions heading into the draft and the remainder of the offseason. There's a lot of question marks now. So I don't like it. And you look at the voting here, nearly 2,000 votes, give it 41%, give it a D or lower. D or lower. So
I want to know what jackass gave it a A. No, in no world is this an A ever. Ever.
Yeah. Even I can get out that
up. Daniel says, "Yo, what's going on, Daniel? Thanks for joining. As always." Brad is in the house saying the Eagles will probably first pick in the first round, second pick, second round in the NFL draft. Your thoughts? Who do you want us to draft in the first or second round? Is that the question, Brad? Let us know. I'm not sure.
I think what he may be saying is the Eagles are going to take an edge rusher with one of those two picks, which I think is where we're kind of headed. Is how does this,
Yeah, let's just get into it. Like that's our next question of this show. How does the Haason Reddick trade impact the Eagles draft plans? Because Ryan and I have done 1,000 mock drafts on this program, and we have been circling around the same guys essentially over the last couple months. You guys know them if you're a fan of this show. I'll throw it to you, Rob, first. Does edge rusher now leap into the top 3 positions of need for the Eagles in the draft?
I think the knee-jerk reaction is to say yes. But I don't think it does, actually. I think when you look at their roster for this year, you obviously have Josh Sweat, you have Bryce Huff, you have Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, and I think that they look at Bond as an edge rusher from everything. They've literally compared him to what Andrew Van Ginkel was in Vic Fangio's defense last year. So that tells me – so I do believe they draft an edge at some point, but it's more of a developmental edge because – we talk about it all the time. There's still too many holes on this roster. There's offensive line that you're going to have to look at, in my hope, the second round. There's cornerback, in my hope, the first round. There's linebacker. There's a lot of different holes that I think still come before that defensive end scenario. So, I mean, in my opinion, it shouldn't. But we know the Eagles, and if there's a guy that they love at 22, they're going to do it. They're going to take him.
Ryan?
Yeah, no, I don't think this changes anything. I think their plans were probably always going to be moving on without Haason or Sweat, if you wanted to believe that as well. So I felt like that need was always going to be there, and considering how much they love drafting, either defense or offensive line, I still think it remains the same. That being said, I still do not put that in the top 3. That being said, I would not be surprised if they drafted an edge in the first round. So there you go.
Rob, did you see that?
That was an unbelievable glitch.
What just happened?
Ryan, you're in the Matrix, or what? I honestly thought it was my internet and my computer because that was insane.
Oh,
that was
the weirdest. All right,
You
that
went-
was really freaky.
You
man.
went
All right.
forward, then you came backwards, then you were behind. I don't know. Now you're good.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'll let Neo to stop messing with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, please take the blue pill.
Yeah.
Davey says cornerback is still the big need. He's okay with the Reddick trade. Howie is cooking something up. I think it is, and we've talked about it a lot. Howie loves the defensive line in the draft. If you look at the big edge rushers in this draft, it's not deep, and we've said it 1,000 times on this show. But after you get past like Latu, Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, then you get into some round 2, round 3 guys on day 2, like Chris Broswell, Braylon Trice, Darius Robinson, Chop Robinson. After that, it's Marshawn Nealon is a big name to know. I think he's a great athlete, but it's not a great class. So I do believe if Howie's going to invest an asset into the edge rusher position, it's going to be with a high pick. And that's just my thoughts. Yeah. All right. Let's keep this show rolling and go into our next topic of the night, excluding Jalen Hurts. We are going to rank our top 3 Eagles players that needs to kind of take a leap and become a cornerstone player in 2024. Throw to you, Rob, first. Who are your top 3 guys?
So, are these in a specific order, or just the top 3 guys that we're talking about?
Your top 3. Who are your top 3?
All right. If I was putting it in order, number 3 would be whoever the hell corner number 2 is. We don't know who that is. When we talk about Howie cooking something up, I tend to put my prayers in going after a young stud corner that you can extend and have here for the prime of his career. But maybe it's the draft. God, I hope it's not on the roster because that would frighten me. But to me, that position has to be solidified before this season starts. So I will say number 3 would be corner number 2. Number 2 for me, Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter, if he can take the next step, not get burned out halfway through the season, I think he makes the world easier for all the edge rushers as well. Okay. So to me, we're going to be looking to him to take over. Fletcher's gone. You're now the interior guy. We don't know what we have in Jordan Davis. We know what Milton Williams is, which we like, but you're the guy that has to change the face of that defensive line. You have to be the face of it now with Fletcher out. And number 1, probably not somebody that people are going to think of, but Cam Jurgens.
Nice.
And my reasoning behind that is you lost the leader, the signal caller, all the things you lost in Jason Kelce. And you can't ask Cam Jurgens to be Jason Kelce because that's unfair. I think that's an unfair thing, but he's got to be able to keep that ship intact. It's very important. Hold on. It's very important that he leads that offensive line, keeps things rolling. There you go. Keeps things. Yeah, he's the leader of this house, as you could tell that he's still awake right now. Get out of here. So Cam Jurgens. I can't talk anymore because he's here. So
Right.
You guys keep going.
All right. We have Davey chiming in saying Jordan Davis, number 3. That's a good one. Cam Jurgens agreeing with Rob, number 2. And unknown cornerback is number 1 for Davey. Ryan, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to go with number 3, Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
This is his last shot, to be perfectly honest. He needs to prove that he can be not only a member of this team, but be somebody who can come in and absolutely get minutes, get plays, and be a linebacker that we drafted you for. Not just a guy that we remember 10 years from now in a trivia contest, Number 2 is absolutely Jordan Davis. This is a guy, again, similar situation. He needs to prove himself a little bit here. He was a little out of shape, but, wasn't able to finish a lot of games. He needs to come in motivated, in shape, ready to go, and ready to become the best D tackle tandem in the league with Jalen Carter. And then number 1 is absolutely Cam Jurgens.
Oh, wow.
This man needs to, he's filling the shoes of absolute legend on this team. And he needs to come and prove that the play should not dip too much under his starting center. So I fully believe that if he absolutely does what we all drafted him for, what Jason Kelsey signed off on for, and under this amazing offensive line and Stoutland and the whole nine, that he keeps this ship going and continues, that we have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
A lot of Cam Jurgens love there. I feel like most of the fan base have forgotten or written off Nakobe Dean, myself included. I mean, yeah. Huge year.
To do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go. Davey also says, I believe in Cam 100%. My top 3, and I'm going to cheat a little bit because he already is, I think, an elite player in the NFL, but it's Dallas Goedert and his return in 2024. He is one of the best tight ends in football, but just 59 catches for less than 600 yards last year. Kellen Moore leading the offense. I want to see Dallas Goedert give us the Dallas Goedert we know and love this season, exploring that middle of the field, becoming a weapon in the RPO again, like we saw in 2022. My number 2 is just like we talked about, Nolan Smith. We talk about wanting to see the Eagles play the young guys, and Nolan Smith now has a clear path to getting a considerable bump in playing time. You go back to that playoff loss in Tampa, but he had 4 tackles, he had a half a sack, a quarterback hit, and a pressure in 16 snaps. It was a bit of a lost season for him in 2023. Nolan Smith really needs to take a major leap. And it's kind of a risky gamble by Howie Roseman, but he was a first-round pick. A first-round pick needs to be on the football field. We need to know what we got in Nolan Smith. And then number 1, I'm kind of cheating again, but it's Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat, for me, is another guy the Eagles need to not develop, but he needs to cement himself in 2024 as a top edge rusher in football. You look at 2022, 11 sacks. Last year, he just had 6.5. His sack rate went down from 3.3% to 1.2%. His pressure rate was 60th out of 113 qualifying edge rushers. That needs to be better in 2024. Vic Fangio is coming to the Eagles in this season. We all know that when this Eagles defense is humming is when they have a consistent 4-man pass rush. And for me, it's Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat has to be his play has to go from here to here big time in 2024. And those are my top 3.
No, those are great ones, honestly.
Yeah.
Those are kind of ones that you wouldn't think, but you're right. They had down years or again, in Sweat's case, he just didn't look himself. He needed to get back, especially now that we don't have Reddick. He needs to be the main guy. He needs to be the main guy, edge rusher there on that line. And Dallas Goedert just needs to stay healthy. So apparently the Phillies just did something stupid. So.
Oh my God! A grand
wow!
Reds in the 10th inning.
Oh wow! I was just about to say, wait, wasn't it 2-2? But yeah,
Rocket stinks. Rocket absolutely stinks.
Oh my God. Whoever named this stupid bullpen the number 1 bullpen in baseball was on something that I need right now. That's what I'm going to say.
Davey says Devontae still has to take a leap too. I know it's hard with AJ Brown on the team though. That's going to be an interesting storyline to watch too. When with AJ Brown's cap number going up exponentially in a couple years, and then Devontae and the contract that he's going to get sooner than later. That's a low key storyline that we talk about guys that tough pills to swallow when it comes to needing to get younger and watching your favorite guys leave. AJ Brown could be on that list in a year from now.
He definitely could be, but I don't necessarily think that Devontae has anything to prove to anybody.
I agree.
He is an amazing wide receiver, on number one on most teams, and the fact that he's our number two, he's doing just fine, baby.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ryan. My bad, man.
No, believe me.
I don't take any responsibility. That's Malcolm Brogdon's. Not Malcolm Brogdon.
No, he's actually a good basketball player.
I
actually wanted him on the Sixers.
Believe me, I'll tweet at Brogdon later and be like, "Thanks for interrupting the show."
Anthony's in the house. What's going on, Anthony? Thanks.
I can't wait till AJ Brown leaves after next year, and the Eagles finally right the biggest wrong of their past and trade for Justin Jefferson, and we fly, baby, and we fly. and I'm buying Dibes an authentic $350 Justin Jefferson jersey for him to wear.
Wow!
You heard it here.
Oh, yeah, we have proof. I heard it. I'll be your witness.
Hopefully, I'll sell 30 houses by then.
Can I just get
all right, let's roll on to our next topic. We're going to do some NFL draft talk. And before we get into that, some quick, what's the word? I don't even know what to say. Plugs, some quick plugs. We will be doing 3 days of watch parties with the NFL draft on April 25th. Day one, our show will start at 7 o'clock. There'll be live analysis. There'll be graphics and spider charts and NFL draft trivia. And then we'll also do a day 2 and then a day 3 as well. Me and Ryan especially have been pumping out draft content. So thank you to anyone who has watched any of those videos, scouting reports, top 10s, top 5s. I dropped 2 videos yesterday on my biggest sleepers, guys that I think are underrated, guys that not necessarily like day 3 guys, but guys that that I don't understand why they're not first round picks, or guys that I don't understand aren't day 2 guys, or things like that. So it's a whole collection of guys, whole spectrum. So we've put out so many videos on the NFL draft, and that's all going to culminate on April 25th. So be on the lookout for that. All right, let's go into some NFL draft discussion. This is kind of going to be a little more negative than positive, I think. We'll see what happens. Number 1, Ryan, lead us off. The prospect that makes me want to projectile vomit.
When I was reading these, I was looking at them and I was like, well, do I get somebody that's maybe a little bit higher than a lot of people like, that just I don't want any part of, or do I just get somebody who just honestly just sucks and I just don't want to see? So I'll go with the former, and because I'm assuming if it's the latter, Dibes, you'll hit this one out of the park. So I'm actually going to go with somebody from Penn State.
Oh,
somebody that a lot of people love around here and want the Eagles to draft in the first round. And I don't like it one bit. And that's Chop Robinson. I do think he is a decent prospect. I do think he would make a decent second round pick. But I still think he is a project. And the Eagles do not need another project at edge. So for what they want and what they need, Chop Robinson cannot be that person. Because if I have to deal with another rookie first round pick not getting out on the field, I'm going to blow out. So Chop Robinson, I'm good, dude. You stay with me. Stay with
Oh my gosh, I love it, man. Chop Robinson is a really good one. Spoiler warning: I have an overrated video coming out, and Chop Robinson is on that list. He's an uber athlete who gets swallowed up against great teams, against good competition. It's all projection for him. And to take a developmental edge rusher in the first round after taking Nolan Smith, who couldn't get on the field last year, and projecting him, he's not going to get a lot of snaps. And you could make an argument that Adisa Isaac was a better pass rusher for Penn State in 2023. Abdul Carter is 1,000 times a pass rusher than Chop Robinson. He'll be a top pick in 2025's NFL draft. But I fully agree. Chop Robinson is a really good one. I didn't put him on that list. I like it a lot. Rob, do you have a guy?
I do. And I'm curious what everybody, you guys are my draft gurus, but one thing I hate is when a guy runs or does something at the combine that is like so great that everybody just falls in love with them. I think of the Darius Hayward Bay from back in the day. I think of this was actually more of a Senior Bowl, but the Mike Mamula over Warren Sapp way back in the day for the Eagles. I'm going to go with Xavier Worthy out in Texas. Okay. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have broken down the film like these two fine gentlemen above me have done. But when you hear about, he sets the record for this and he does this and that I want nothing to do with you because frankly, you're getting overdrafted because you ran fast. I need a receiver to do more than just run fast. Okay. Remember Quez Watkins? He was fast, but he sucked at everything else. He sucked. So just look, I don't think any child makes me want to projectile vomit, and these are all children to me. But if I had to put one in this category, it would probably, and looking at it obviously from the Eagles standpoint, mostly, Xavier Worthy is a guy I'm staying away from for at all costs in this draft.
I love it. That's a great one. He's also on that list, Rob. Xavier Worthy is also on my overrated list. Might as well just drop the video tonight, I guess. But anyway, there's no one that loves the draft hype machine as much as me. But yeah, the 40 is so overrated. And in fact, I'll say the agility drills and the 3-cone and the 10-yard are way more applicable drills than the 40-yard dash. And you look at that body, he's razor thin. And for a guy that flies as much as Xavier Worthy, how in the world was this guy 139th in college football last year when it comes to yards per completion? So I don't buy it. So Xavier Worthy is a really good one. For me, the prospect that makes me want to projectile vomit is any kind of uber raw offensive tackle in the first round. And the guys I'm circling are guys like Tyler Guyton and Patrick Paul, two guys that are developmental guys, don't really flash anything when it comes to maybe playing on the inside. They're guys that are going to play down the road. They got tools, but I would hate that draft selection for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's possible. It's definitely possible in the realm of Howie and how much he loves the line. So Anthony chimes in, Bo Nix, because he is 50 years old, has played in college for 50 years. Jonathan, what's going on? Brockton has no business making this team. Phillies in April and May are unwatchable. Nate Wiggins for Rufus Rodgers. That's a really good one, too. He's a horrible tackler, does not provide anything in run support. And that was a major issue for the Eagles in 2023. Jonathan says, who cares about football anymore? Is flag football? Hip tackle is a penalty. How are they supposed to play defense? Random says Devontae has been a dog the entire time. Shane did talk about Xavier Worthy and his 40 time for sure. I am staying away from Bo Nix. He spent his whole life in college. I don't like Bo Nix at all. I like Michael Penix in that third tier quarterback. But when it comes to Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy, they're just so overdrafted. I don't like any of them. I think they're more day 2, day 3 guys than they are ridiculous day 1 prospect. I think it's ridiculous. All right, let's go to our next one. The prospect that makes me go, I get it. But I did not see that one coming. I get it, but I did not see that one coming. I'll lead us off on this one. I think it's Brock Bowers. If Brock Bowers slips a little bit, and I think he's like a top 15 guy. I'm not the highest on Brock Bowers, but that would be like the pick that I am shocked at how he drafts. But one that I could probably come back around on is Brock Bowers. What about you, Ryan?
That's a really good one. And see, I'm a little bit on the opposite on that. While I think that's a great selection, I would jump at the chance if he were available at 22. The things you could do with that man, not even just as a tight end. But yeah, the kind of as I was thinking this, I was like, well, all right. So what would be the most shocking thing? And I feel like at this point, I think I've convinced myself that if the Eagles were to pick a tackle in the first round, so you could say that Tyler Guyton, that's again probably the one closest to where we are, and I get it. I understand the logic. We're doing everything that we've always done, is we're setting ourselves up for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. I get it. It's what Howie loves to do, but at this point, I think I'm just so convinced that we have too many holes to do it, Howie. Howie can't be that blind to where he thinks that philosophy is going to continue this year with all of the holes we still need to fill with the draft. Not just overall offseason, with the draft. There's still so many holes left. So I'll say Tyler Guyton just because I don't see them doing the tackle thing anymore. Don't see it.
Rob?
Yeah, so I kind of took it as, the shock doesn't have to be a negative shock. It could be a happy shock. So I went with a prospect in Tyler Nubin. I went with a safety because I would be shocked in an excited way. But the reason I'd be shocked is I don't know if the Eagles have taken a safety in the first round. Maybe ever. I don't know. It would be a good shock for me, and I definitely would get it because I still think they need another safety. Now, when I wrote this, it was before they signed a 1-year extension with Reed Blankenship today. But still, it's my belief that a safety to build with that can play right away would be a joyous shock for Eagles Nation. So I'll go with Nubin.
I love Nubin, man. Love Nubin.
Love him too.
Anthony says Brock Bowers is terrible. He had a good team around him to make him look good. He is a bust. I disagree with that.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. All right. Next one. The prospect that makes you want to scream Howie Roseman for president.
Should we all just say the same name? Should we all just say it?
I don't know who. I don't know.
I don't care. Give me Edgerrin Cooper and stop the madness. That's it. It's it. I don't care where you get him. I don't care when you get him. I just scared the heck out of my son, but he's laughing hysterically at me now. Give me Edgerrin Cooper in this draft, so help me God. I won't care if you draft 7 offensive tackles if the one guy that's not an offensive tackle is Edgerrin Cooper.
Wow. You know what's weird is I did this question and I didn't even write Cooper in mine, and I've been one of his biggest fans. That's terrific. What about you, Ryan?
Listen, to be different, because Cooper is obviously the correct answer. I'm gonna say I'm gonna shock a lot of people because as much as I do love my linebackers, I'm gonna draft Jackson Powers Johnson in the
Yeah.
first round. I am gonna absolutely say this is a brilliant move. Keep the offensive train rolling. Keep this the top unit and in the league for years to come. Oh, Anthony knows me too well. I love that.
Absolutely. Like you're speaking to the heart of Ryan over here. I think so. My obvious one for me is I do want a cornerback. I want a CB1 for the future. If there is any possible way that Quinyon Mitchell slips just a little bit and falls into the laps like Jalen Carter did last year, I would love Quinyon Mitchell to the Philadelphia Eagles in round one. That's my guy. He always has been. I think Terrion Arnold is terrific. He's going to be top 10. I think Quinyon Mitchell is arguably better than him. And for me, it's Mitchell. Rolling on.
It's a good one.
The prospect that makes me say pain. The prospect that makes me say pain. Ryan, who's your guy?
Jeez. So how is this? Can I just ask? How is this different than vomit inducement?
I don't know. Maybe, should we just skip it? It's basically
No.
the same one.
Listen, no, I'll tell you right now. It's not even. It's not one person. Any offensive tackle you draft in the first round that's not going to play this year is pain. Pure and simple pain. Okay? I will not be overjoyed, but I understand what Ryan's saying with a guy like Jackson Powers drop because he's going to play. I need my first round pick to play. You're not good enough. You have too many holes to not use your first round pick on a guy that's going to play. If you're going to draft an offensive tackle, you might as well draft a quarterback because he's not going to play. He's not going to play.
Yeah, I think I think you can just kind of use that as a whole, drafting anybody.
And I should say he's not going to play significant. He's not going to play significant minutes.
Right. You can draft a non-starter and they'll still be able to play some minutes. A tackle is behind Lane Johnson and ain't doing jack. So I hear you. Tackle might be the worst one. You're right.
So to piggyback off of that, you look at that Haason Reddick trade and how he's already has his eyes to multiple drafts down the road. And you look at Jalen Hurts, it's his number spiking up in a couple of years, and you look at Devontae's cap hit spiking up in the near future. My answer to this question, what would be pain, would be trading back in round one and like looking at an asset like a future first round pick down the road. Like I would not, like Rob said, I need this guy on the field from day one. The Eagles have to throw some answers to a lot of question marks on the football field. And I would hate that move. And probably Shane would disagree with that. But for me, I don't like that move.
Yeah, I'm actually going to disagree with it too. I don't hate it. And I think it's because, listen, say you take 22 and you throw back to like 36. That should be enough for you to not only get the 36, a future first, and maybe get you a third round this year. And personally, I love a lot of the guys in the second round. And there's a small portion of guys in the first round that I do love that may not be there. And so I think if you're going to give yourself another opportunity to still get a guy, still get somebody who can be a starter, at least play significant minutes in a rotation, you'll come out of there with still 3 picks at the top 53. You'll get yourself, an extra third that, Howie can draft Trot Jr. and bring him home and all that. And, everybody wins and we get a future first.
Ryan,
from a team. Just saying.
Ryan, I love you, but no. No. I'm going to actually put that into my prospect. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to trade out of the first round when your defense looks like a really hold-up piece of Swiss cheese. No,
You're right.
no. Draft someone that's going to play on defense.
What if they draft offense the first 3 picks?
It's the same thing then.
Rufus
Right guard plays right now. Tight end 2 plays plenty in 12 package. Wide receiver 3 plays plenty. You'll get 3 guys that'll play plenty.
I will punch you in the face. Not you.
Super offense. Super offense. I'm all for it. Let's go.
You saw what happened in this damn chat when my draft went friggin' crazy the other day for offense. All right. I got an A from PFF and they still booted me. So no.
Oh, man.
No.
Rufus says Cooper DeJean, a defensive back that can tackle. That would be a great selection with his versatility. Ryan, you knew Howie would screw up the draft because he had 2 good drafts. Oh, so Anthony's already expecting this to be a down year.
Yeah. I mean, that's
This is a good one. Tavondre Sweat. He's another run stopper, nose tackle type of prospect. I would hate that pick. Yeah.
I would say D tackle is one of those positions that you have quite a few guys on your roster right now. I know you want to have 4, but you have 3 for sure. And then you have guys like Tuiala, whatever, and Ajomo. So, I mean, I don't think you need to draft a defensive tackle this year.
Not in the first.
Yeah, not in the first. I think it could definitely be on the table for like day 2 or day 3. But yeah, not in the first. I like Byron Murphy a lot. That's the big name. He's a pass rusher. We know the Eagles would like to rotate their guys on the interior. You can't speak enough about how vital it is to have a pass rush from the interior and what that means for a defense. It's huge. And you look at Milton Williams and his possible new contract going down the road. So maybe it could make sense. But Tavondre Sweat's another 2-down type, Jordan Davis type. No.
Well, and doing that, and say you draft a Byron Murphy, that would be great. But you're also saying that Jordan Davis was a mistake. That's exactly what that has to. And Hamilton is lighting up the league, one of the best safeties, and we have big fat Jordan Davis.
Yep. Anthony says I would take a tackle, and he can learn from Johnson. No.
5th round.
No thanks. I would draft a defensive tackle in case Davis or Carter is out of shape. Jordan Davis, he was a mistake the second they drafted him, and it's just to take Jordan Davis over Kyle Hamilton still to this day was a massive disaster class of a move. And if we had Kyle Hamilton, a guy that could just dominate the secondary, cover tight ends, do all the things that the Eagles defense cannot do to this day, we'd be having a different conversation right now. It's what it is. I never wavered. I was on the watch party the second they made that selection. Nothing against Jordan Davis, who I think is like a good player, but it was just such a massive, colossal mistake.
That draft could have been Kyle Hamilton, and then a mere 5 minutes later could have been AJ Brown, and that could have been single-handedly the best first round the Philadelphia Eagles would have ever had in the NFL.
I want to give kudos to our buddy Mark Henry, because I can remember being on live during that draft, and Mark was so angry that he logged off. He logged off. He couldn't handle it. He logged off because, he wanted Kyle Hamilton, and we all understood it. But so kudos to him, because he may look, maybe Jordan Davis turns into a player this year, but that one's going to hurt.
Mhm.
Yep. Rufus says we don't need anybody. Jordan Davis was a mistake. Not drafting Brian Branch instead of Nolan Smith was another bonehead pick.
Was it? Wait, didn't Branch go before Nolan Smith?
No.
No,
He
Branch
went
was
on.
top of the second round.
Top of second. Okay, fair enough.
And, well, sort of. He was like 10 picks after.
Was he?
Yeah, it was decent enough, but yes.
Davey, I
yeah.
remember Brian
Don't
Branch. I think I had Brian Branch in my like top 15
Yeah.
of last year. Like I was so high on Brian.
I
Branch.
was mocking them to the Eagles at 11 or 10 or wherever they were before they moved up for Carter.
Yeah. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I swear. It's
No,
what it is.
yeah, no, I saw it, but yeah, it's tough. It's rough.
Hamilton has twice the amount of sacks that Jordan Davis has. All right. Last question of the night. The prospect that makes me say nope. Nope. I mean, it's kind of the same question. For me, it's a trade up for like a JC Latham or a trade up for Amarius Mims, some sort of situation where we trade up and we're all excited and we're going to get a good player on defense, and it's a tackle. That's my answer. Rob, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I don't care where. I'm going to continue to say this. If you draft an offensive tackle who cannot go play guard for you for the year, nope. You won't sell me on that. There's no way that I can be sold on that. There's absolutely no way that I would be sold on that. My son is apparently watching a comedy show right now because he just keeps laughing at me.
I mean, I get it.
Is it party abroad?
It's party on Rob is what it is. It's just me. He's just watching me.
The two guys to watch out for with that is Talise Fuaga and JC Latham do have potential to play some right guard. Before
and that's my thing. Like, if you draft a guy who's going to play guard for you this year, I'm not thrilled about it, but at least you drafted someone who will play. But if you take, like you guys keep mentioning Tyler Guyton, that's the guy that I'm scared to death is going to be their pick. He's the one that scares me.
What about you, Ryan?
It's simply not drafting a linebacker in the first 53 picks. You got 3 opportunities. I got one is probably out of the realm, but listen, there's a couple of guys. If Cooper's not there, you have Peyton Wilson. You have, again, depending on who you like, Junior Colston. A couple of other guys. You need to get a linebacker. And listen, as much as I love talking about Trot, he's not a second rounder. And I still would love Trot on this team. But if he is your second linebacker that you take out of this draft, then beautiful. You have fixed your linebacker room for me. Say if you come out of this with Cooper and Trot, with Dean and White.
You match them up with the stud Devin White. It's a linebacker room from heaven.
It's a steal and a half. You have fixed that linebacker room. So as much as I do love Trot, but Trot by himself here with the Nakobe Dean small as well, I do not like the fit at this point. But if he's not going to be the guy, then all right, let him develop and see what you get.
All right.
But yeah, you have to draft a linebacker, please.
Yeah, have to. All right, guys. That wraps up tonight's show. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Any final thoughts and plugs before we turn this thing off?
Yeah, listen, no, clearly, and Rob will mirror this sentiment. Don't draft a friggin' tackle, please, Howie. I don't think I have it in me to sob on air in front of everybody. I don't think my ego can handle that, and that's exactly what that would do. So please don't do that. Get me a linebacker in at some point in the first 2 minutes. And I don't know. I'm really scared. because I a lot of guys, and I don't think I'm going to get any of them. So
Yeah, it happens
anyway.
every year, man. It happens
I know
Luka.
it does every year, but more so this year because I have jumped in, head first more than I ever have, and done, more studying and more, watching film and more whatever. And I feel like I've fallen in love with more prospects, and that's only just going to add to the heartbreak that will ultimately be draft night for me.
Yep. All right, Rob. Final thoughts, plugs.
That the heads of Edge of Philly Sports might actually like if the Eagles took an offensive tackle in the first round, and I happen to be on here, because I am going to throw a tirade that you've never seen before, and will probably be a clip that is shown for years. But so yeah, catch me here partying on Broad. Some things are rising. Hopefully in May, we're in some discussions. So we're catch me wherever you can at Philly_Madness.
All right. And then I will have a most overrated prospect video coming out on the draft. And I will have a boomer bust video coming out on the draft. I was going to do them today, but we went to the movies. We saw Dune 2, which was really good.
It was good.
A very fun movie. Definitely worth seeing on the big screen. And it was raining and we did nothing all day. It was amazing. It was a great day off. So, but otherwise, go check out my most underrated video. Go check out my top sleepers. I'm going to probably make more sleepers type of videos over the next few weeks as we get ready for the NFL draft. One last time, our NFL draft watch party starts at 7 p.m. on April 25th. Again, NFL draft trivia, grades, spider charts. We've got a whole draft guide that's in the works. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone in the comments who joined us tonight. He is Ryan Reese. Go give him a follow at Philly Sports PSA. And that is one last time, Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Stay awesome.